So we know there's always something to work on. Today it happens to be the wife's minivan. We got a sliding door, power sliding door with a lock that's messed up. We're gonna open it up, kind of see what's going on there, see what's causing it, and I'll show you what it's doing here. I don't know if you can hear that, but that lock seems to be disengaged. I'm guessing the actuator, the gears are stripped or have come apart somehow. So we're going to investigate that, take the door panel off, see what's going on, see if we can take care of it. Okay, so there's going to be two Phillips head screws. There's one here in the door handle. If you close this door, all the way down the bottom corner, there's one more, and the rest of it's just held on with clips. So we're going to take this one out, and then we'll open the door, go outside, get the other one. There's that. Okay, so the other one is going to be in the bottom corner here, all the way down by the passenger side rear tire. If we look, you can just see it right there. Not an easy place to get to, but get it lined up just right here. I can get the screwdriver just inside the wheel. Which you can see is not the best position here, but it does work. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I need a little more room to work, so we're going to pull this seat out. We're already taking the child carrier seat out for the baby seat. And now the rest of this should just be little door clips we can just pop out. Work your way down. And I believe across the top it's just going to slide in. So we need to pop the clips down the sides all the way along the bottom. Now with those released, just going to pull it up off the lock, out from under that side, and that's it. Now we're going to peel this foam back. I've got some adhesive we can reattach this with later. We want to see what's actually going on with the lock mechanism on the inside. Now this all started from playing around. One of us trying to lock the other out of the van, trying to lock and unlock from the inside and with the remote at the same time. So I'd advise not to do that. Okay, I'm going to grab the remote so we can remotely lock this and see if we can see what's going on. Okay, so what it seems to be is the lock mechanism itself. I actually had to shut the door, use the remote. And there's some gears down in here that are just grinding. I have a feeling they're stripped out, so I do have, luckily I've got a whole van outside that's just for parts. From Mrs. S had a little fender bender at the back of a pickup truck, and it was cheaper to get a whole new van. I found one down in Indianapolis for $500. A couple said it had a blown engine, so I've been using it for parts, which is nice. It's already paid for itself over. So what we're going to do is figure out how to get this mechanism out, and then we'll go out to the parts van. I'll take that out and we'll swap it out, put that in here, and see what happens. Okay, so you can see here, I believe we're just going to be taking these Torx bolts out. Got a couple of different Torx head screws, socket cap. Looks like there's 3 of them. I'm hoping this entire assembly here will come out with just those, and then we'll see. I know Ford has a bad habit of doing rivets on parts that eventually will need replaced, so we may have to do some drilling. But let's see what happens here. Okay, so let's see what size these are. Usually it's a T25 Torx. These are actually a little bigger. Looks like a 27, T27. Okay, so we've actually also got 2 Torx head screws here on the end. Let me show you those real quick. You can see here the actual door closing mechanism latch. We've got 2 more here. I think we need to take those out to release the rest of it. Wrong. There's 3 of them over here. One's hiding just behind that rubber boot. Okay, now we've got that loose. Got arms in here for the locks that are going to have to be detached to get this whole piece out. Now these here are just clips. We can pop those loose. This is the cable that's coming in here. Comes here. There's just a little clip here, pops down. We should be able to pull this cable right out, like that. And this other latch inside here has the same thing. That arm loose. And now we've got the whole mechanism pulled out. Got the wire connection, we'll go ahead and take that off. I've got the, this is a motorized latch, a linear actuator, since this has power sliding doors, to release the latch so that it can open itself. Unplug that. That. Now this cable here should snap out. Now we can take this lock rod, push rod out. If we can turn it just right. Got one more cable coming in here in the back, right here. Looks like we got a hex head bolt holding that little assembly in. And this whole cable should come out of here. Now you're going to want to keep in mind where these go, so you can put them back when they're done, obviously. Get some sockets so we can take a look at that. With these newer vehicles, it's usually a pretty safe assumption that you're going to be working with metric. That one is a 8mm. Take this loose. Looks as though the cable needs to be pushed downward so that we can turn it sideways and release that pin. This whole assembly here seems to be in the way though. Okay, so I'll try to show you what we were working with here. The cable actually goes in this piece right there that's lit up. See that notch? The cable is right here. It's got a little knob here. It's kind of hard to see. But this little knob, you've got to line the cable itself up with the notch in that piece to get the knob to actually go into the hollow on each side, or to come out. And that's not very easy to do. Everything here is pretty well spring loaded. So it was a little bit of a hassle, but we got it out. So now we've got the whole assembly loose. So I think what we'll do, since the other one I believe is good, we're just going to take this whole piece out of the parts van and just swap the whole thing. Alright, so we've got the whole assembly pulled out of the parts van. You can see they're only a couple years apart, same model. This is an 03 Windstar SEL. The other one's the same, just a 2001. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook that cable back up down in here. Since that's the most difficult part, we're going to get that done first. Well, we can still move this around and rotate as needed. And I found that some needle nose pliers seem to be the best way to get in here and get a hold of it. Alright. That was certainly not easy. Now we're going to bolt this. We'll hold her back onto the back here. Now there are marks. You can't really see it here, but there's a mark, a little ring where the bolt was tightened down before. We're just going to try to make sure we've got it back in the same spot so everything's properly lined up, because this is a slot where it can be adjusted in and out. Get that nice and snug. Alright, let's hook these wires back up. See if you can see what we're actually working with here. Got one wire attaches here to this actuator. The other one is going right here to this actuator. And we've got our cable. You can see now right there how you have to feed that wire through that little slot to get the knob down inside of there, pull it back around. I think you can see why that's not very easy to do. Okay, so we've got everything hooked back up. We need to put this lock rod back in here. Now it's just got a little circle here, a little hole, bent rod. We're gonna slip it in, get it to turn just right. There you go. That's all there is to that. So now we'll try to get her back in here lined up. I'm going to line it up on the end back here. Put these in first just to keep everything aligned. Don't forget to put your rubber boot back on. Next thing we're going to do is get this little piece here. It just goes in this clip. Snaps down in there, if you can see that. And then the yellow clip snaps down to hold it in place. We've got the same thing down here. We gotta put this cable back in its little holder here. We gotta snap this back in. I'm gonna try to pull it tight while we do, so there's not a lot of free play in it. Clip this shut. And now we should be all hooked up here. So we'll put our Torx screws back in. Got one here. We've got one here. And one down here. And these are just little retaining clips down here. Line those up. They'll fit right in. Now we should be able to just snug these down. Pull the foam back over, put the side panel back on. I think first we'll close the door, try it out, make sure everything's functioning properly before we close it all up. Okay, so got everything tightened up. We're gonna close the door, operate the electronic lock, and see what happens. Okay, we'll show you here. Operating just as it should. Alright, so there we go. Mrs. S can have the minivan back. And fully functioning, no more grinding. I'm sure you can just change out the lock mechanism itself. Quite positive you'll be drilling some rivets. Luckily we've actually got the parts fan, so I was able to change out the entire latch mechanism. All as one piece seemed to be a little easier way to do it. But we're all fixed up and just wait for the next thing to go bad. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. If you got any questions on it, feel free to ask in the comments. I'll be more than happy to read through, try to answer as best I can. God bless.